Hello, everyone. I'm Rosalva, and I am a certified emotion code body code practitioner and also a member of the Inside Out Institute. So, I have a question for you, viewers. Have you ever watched the movie The Secret and got all excited and decided you were going to put some of those things they taught him to practice and ended up really frustrated and just say, forget that, it's not working for me, and just gave up? Well, it is my great pleasure today to have a very special guest. She has taught thousands of people on how to implement the law of attraction and how to manifest their goals and dreams. She's a life transformational coach with several social media platforms, and every day she teaches on self improvement, self development. She teaches on spirituality and also on how to be the best version of you. So, with that, I want to give a warm welcome to Lucie England to say. Welcome, Lucie. Thank you so much for coming this morning. I know for you it's evening, but thank you for being
Yes.
with us. I know
Oh,
you're in
thank you
London.
so much, Rosalva. Thank you for that lovely introduction as well.
Well, you're welcome. Lucie, can you please share a little bit about yourself and tell us what is the law of attraction? Because we have viewers who I know have heard about it, but are not quite clear exactly. It's not like a magic thing. Like what is that? What is it about?
Okay, great. So I'll start off with introducing myself first of all. So, like you said, my name is Lucie England Hughes. I'm born and raised in London in the UK. So it's 6 p.m. here right now. And my journey with practicing the law of attraction um, it started actually when I was very, very young because both of my parents are entrepreneurs and have been my whole life. And so, if there's any entrepreneurs watching, I'm sure they'd agree that to be a successful entrepreneur, it's really about self growth, self improvement. If you want your business to grow, you've got to grow. If you want to be able to handle more responsibility, more money, you got to be able to be a stronger version of you, right? To handle those things. And we get paid for the value that we bring to the marketplace. So I think because my parents, because I'd always seen them my whole entire life, aspiring to grow their business to the next level and to the next level, our house was always filled with personal development. We were always listening to Jim Rohn or some of the original business philosophers. And my parents taught me from a young age that my mindset really was one of the most important things, and that, you know, in every situation, we have a choice of how we look at it and how we choose to respond to it, right?
Yes.
So, those were the early days. I think, as you could probably imagine, though, Rosalva, having a family that brought me up quite differently meant that when I started going to school and everything like that, guess what? I was different. And when you're different at school, what normally happens? You get bullied for it, right? You're
Right.
weird, you're different, people don't get you, people can't understand you, maybe, or yeah, they don't
Yeah,
understand
different.
you.
Yeah, at a different energy level there. Hmm.
Maybe so, exactly. So I had an amazing supportive family, which I'm so, so grateful for. But at school, it wasn't always such an easy ride. And I was often teased and laughed at for just being my authentic self. And I think many, many people could probably relate to the fact that when you're at school, when you're in an environment where, like, you want to make friends, you want people to like you, and suddenly those things are really important, what I ended up doing was changing myself to try and fit in. Or,
Okay.
when somebody laughs at you for doing something, then you learn, okay, I won't do that again because that was painful and I don't want to be hurt in future. So in my teenage years, I lost a lot of who I was. I felt very to be honest, I had a lot of self-hate. I really didn't like myself because I'd made this connection in my head that being myself was something that I would get teased and bullied for.
Oh,
So I was
wow.
doing everything within my power to be someone else and to try and do things that would please other people, right?
Yes.
So then it wasn't until finishing university, graduating from university, influenced by what I'd seen my parents create, I was inspired to become my own boss because of what I'd seen that they, the lifestyle they were able to create, not having a boss of their own. I thought, I want that. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want that. So that's when I had to look at what do I need to do to become successful? Because when I first started being an entrepreneur, it was not working. Why was it not working? Because I was not being my authentic self. I was trying to be someone else. I was very worried about what people would think about me. I thought that being myself, that no one would like that, And so in the first couple of years of my business journey, nothing was growing. I was just broke and nothing was working. No one seemed to be joining my business teams or anything like that. And so I was looking for a way to grow my business. And that was when I was reintroduced to the world of personal development on a deeper level. Not just like listening to some motivation or reading a book, but then I started to attend like transformational workshops and stuff like that, which can be a bit scary, a bit uncomfortable, because suddenly you have to look at what's going on that's holding you back or that's not working, or what things that maybe you've pushed away from your conscience that actually needs to be healed in order to reach that next level, right? So, the last 5 years of my life, I would say, has been a journey of healing traumas and stuff like that, letting go of limiting beliefs. That's a big one. Reprogramming my mind and having the courage to be more and more and more and more my authentic self. And so the law of attraction, now to answer that question that you asked, what is the law of attraction and how does it fit into my story? Interestingly, the more that I've become my authentic self, things in my business have started to flourish, have started to grow. Things that were really hard have suddenly become quite easy, to a point where now when I see the numbers that my business is doing or the number of people who are subscribing, I'm almost like, really? What? I thought it would be so much harder. It used to be so much harder. And now things are just flowing. Why is that? What's changed? What's different? And it's not necessarily that I'm working 10 times harder now than I was in the beginning of my business. But I think that the big shift is my energy has changed, and I am allowing myself to have the success that I was blocking before. And so with the law of attraction, I suppose if I can think of a kind of like, what's the simplest definition of what the law of attraction is, right? I would say that everything. Okay, let's start with the fact that probably everyone can agree, right? That everything has an energy. Like, even if we take out all spirituality for a second and let's just look at it in the most logical, scientific way. If you look at anything under a microscope, it'll be lots of molecules, lots of atoms vibrating, right? And they're all charged. They've all got a charge. And so even if you look at solid objects like a table, like a chair, if you were to look at that material under a microscope, that too has a vibration, just a very slow, solid vibration, right? But it still has a vibration. Or if we look at it more in terms of like what you can't see under a microscope, but what you can feel, I think everyone on this planet knows what it feels like when you walk into a room and the people in that room make you feel good, make you smile, make you feel at ease, compared to if you walked into a room full of people who make you feel uncomfortable, self-conscious, scared, intimidated, or even like just drained of your energy, right? So I'm sure everyone watching has experienced that at some point before, where some people make you feel good and other people, even before they've even said anything, you're just drained being in their presence, right?
We used to call them negative vibes, you know.
Exactly. You know, people talk about good vibes, negative vibes. Vibes is short for vibration.
Yes.
That's what the word vibes is about.
Yeah.
So everything has a vibration. People have a vibration. Objects have a vibration. The things that you want to attract into your life have a vibration, and the things that you don't want to attract into your life have a vibration. And so what's cool with understanding the law of attraction is that if you can become a vibrational match to the life that you want, to the things that you want, to the people that you want to be surrounded by, if you can be that, then the law of attraction says that you're going to attract, you're going to magnetize towards things that are on the same frequency as you. So how that ties into personal development and self-growth is, okay, it's a fact that we're constantly attracting the things that we're on the same vibrational frequency as. So if I want to attract the next level version of my life, what does that involve? It involves looking at how I'm showing up, how I'm feeling, what my energy is saying, what my emotions are saying, and how can I change that, adjust that, and improve it so that I'm no longer a vibrational match to the life that I don't want, and I am a vibrational match to the life that I do want. When we sustain that higher vibration, then over time, consistently, not just like for a 10-minute meditation one day, but like consistently, then before our very eyes, things can start to shift. Things that seem like miracles start to happen. And I've experienced a lot of that in my life so far. And so now it's just kind of an honor to be asked to speak about it and stuff like that. All of these things are happening now. And I'm going with the flow. I'm going with it.
Good. Go, girl. So some of the things that you actually said, yes, it works. I mean, can you recall? I know that it's a process. I think sometimes people think it's like a magic formula. You know, you wish it and then it's going to happen. Like, so for you, was it like as you begin to manifest some of the things, the real things that you had, you know, put your heart upon, was that like something that just like clicked right away, or was it like a process for you? I'm talking about like time.
For me, it's always been a process. It's always been a process because, like I said, it's not about. Some people have experiences of literally flipping a switch and like having an epiphany moment, and like their whole life changes from that moment onwards. But I wouldn't really describe that as a technique. I would maybe describe those instances as like happy accidents that people happen upon. So I think it's maybe more useful to share with an audience of people, you know, in all different situations. I think it'd be more useful to talk about a process than those sort of miraculous instant experiences. So for me, it has always been a process. I could give two examples that might resonate with a lot of people. I think a really common thing that people want to manifest and want to attract often is better relationships, you know, the perfect partner, that kind of thing. And the other most high demand thing that people want to manifest is more money. So I have an example of how I've manifested in both of those areas that I could share that could be useful. So in looking at relationships, first of all, I can quite clearly see, and maybe other people can see who are listening, I can quite clearly see that each relationship I've been in has been a direct reflection of how I felt about myself during that period of my life.
Okay.
And each relationship was quite different, I think, because during those 5-10 years, I was changing a lot. And what I was looking for in a partner changed a lot. I had two main serious relationships before I met my fiance, who I'm now engaged to, who really is my
congratulations
partner. Thank you. Well, the wedding's been postponed because of everything going on, but
I know with the
whenever
pandemic,
well, it'll happen. But thank you. So yeah, the first two serious relationships I had before that, I can look back with gratitude, many happy memories, but also a lot of things that really, you know, they were my first partner really made me feel uncomfortable for being me and really shone a light on, like, he would tease me about being myself.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, at that point in my life, I was quite ashamed of being me. So I sort of attracted a partner who treated me probably the way that I was treating myself, if I was really honest.
Interesting. Yes. Uh-huh.
My second relationship was totally different. I was at a different point in my life. I was starting to explore loving myself for who I was, starting to feel more feminine, more confident, more sexy in my own skin. And he latched onto that energy. He was very attracted to me. He adored me, which was great. But he was incredibly insecure about our relationship. And I too was also quite insecure during those years as well. Then how did I then go into manifesting such a relationship today, which is just so different to both of those, where, my current fiance, he celebrates everything that I am, adores me exactly as I am, embraces all of my weirdness and loves me for it.
He's a keeper, right?
Yeah, he's a great listener.
Yeah.
He he's open to understanding how I am, to become even more connected to me. And all of those things about him is also connected to how I am now. So how did I go from where I was then to how I am now? I actually took a break from even looking for being in a relationship for just less than a year. It wasn't a long time, just a few months, really, when my priorities totally changed and I was not looking to be in a relationship with anybody else, and I decided to prioritize my relationship with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of healing happened. I, for the first time in my adult life, really felt like I had a chance to be selfish in a good way. Like, cool, yeah. I'm not in a relationship. That means I can decide to do whatever I want with my weekends. I don't have to do what anybody else wants. I also moved to another country and was living completely on my own. So I really removed myself from everything in my life.
Distractions in life, right? Yeah.
Yes. And all of a sudden, I was able to really focus my energy on my relationship with me. And that was quite a few lonely nights where I couldn't get to sleep because I just felt so on my own. But it forced me, in a way that I can only be grateful for looking back, to become my own best friend, which I think was a relationship that I had been avoiding for years. And I think a lot of people avoid ever working on that relationship with themselves so that they could be comfortable and quite content and maybe even blissfully happy being just with their own company for months.
Right.
Like, imagine if you can be so happy, so comfortable, excited every day when you wake up to have a relationship with you, to spend quality time with you, with no one to distract you from how you feel about yourself. That was the practice that I had for almost a year.
Okay, yeah.
And then from there, this guy walks into my life, and what he was attracted to was a version of me that was so much more self-assured, so much more complete as a unit on my own. Not like a half looking for another half, but a whole looking for another whole complete person. So I attracted this other person who was whole and complete, which meant that we've just kind of complemented each other's lives rather than depending on each other to make ourselves feel good. When we sort of depend on other people to make ourselves feel good, it gets messy, because it's like, my happiness depends on you being a certain type of way, rather than if you're complete and they're complete, then you can both fully support each other's journeys while not needing them to do something to satisfy you, you know?
Right.
So I think that was the hugest shift. It was a process to heal myself, build a relationship with me, and then the law of attraction basically attracted someone who was at that same frequency as me once I'd healed a lot of wounds. So yeah, that's one real life example.
Okay.
The money side of things was a slower situation for me. I really struggled with manifesting money for a long time, to the point where, like, even when my business was growing, I seemed to somehow be able to get rid of the money. So I always had the same small amount of money in my account. This is a whole topic, to be honest.
Right. Yes. You know, there a lot of times we have these subconscious blocks that doesn't let us keep money.
Right. Exactly. I describe it as like a thermostat, right? So like whatever temperature your thermostat is set to, if the temperature goes too high, the air conditioning will come on to turn it down again. Or if the temperature goes too low, then yes, it picks it up. But it will always kind of default to that, whatever it's set at, right?
Established cap that you have for yourself. Well, I have been following you, but I can't say honestly that I followed you for a long time. I just, started following you, and I just love your videos. They inspire me. And one of the ones that I just love is when you were teaching on scripting. You know how you started writing everything down on your page,
right?
And so that was like, wow. You had a lot of things on your scripted paper that came true for you. So real quick, just tell us about scripting.
Sure.
I like to call it journaling, but it doesn't have to be a journal, right? Just write it down and.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes, the video that I've done about the scripting letter. What's amazing is that absolutely everything that I wrote down on that letter, which were things that I wanted to manifest, every single thing has now come true, which really blew my mind, and of course, really grew my confidence that this law of attraction thing is a thing that works.
Right.
So I can't take credit for this technique because I learned about it from a video that I was listening to. It was an Abraham Hicks video.
Okay.
And basically this man said, so like for anyone who has never listened to Abraham Hicks before, just to give some context, she is like, it's hard to describe. She is like Esther Hicks is a woman who channels these energies to talk through her. Okay. And so people gather, like in pre-COVID, like a room of 500 people would all gather to hear what these energies had to say through her. Okay. So in this video, one man from the audience was given the microphone to basically ask his questions and speak with them. So he shared his success story of how a few months before this day, he decided to write a thank you letter, like a thank you letter in advance, right, for what he wanted to happen. So he wrote a letter to Abraham Hicks, expecting that one day he would end up meeting, having the opportunity to talk to Abraham Hicks and read this letter or give this letter to Abraham Hicks. So even though that wasn't on the cards for him, he just was like, this is going to happen one day. One day I'm going to be able to read this letter of thanks, of gratitude to Abraham Hicks. And then the letter was all about all of the things that he wanted to manifest, but he was writing it as if it had already happened. So he was like, Abraham, thank you so much. I've now met, the love of my life. I'm in such a beautiful relationship and we've never been happier and And then he wrote down a few different things, areas in his life that he wanted to improve, whether it's relationships, whether it's money, whether it's job, anything else. He wrote down as if he'd got the result that he wanted to get before he'd even got it. Then what he did with the letter was he read it out loud to himself every single day, not just like reading it robotically, but reading it with the most possible feeling and emotion that he could. Because now that we've talked a little bit about the basics of law of attraction, maybe people are piecing it together, right? What was this letter helping him to do? This letter was helping him to be on the frequency of the version of his life when all of this stuff has already happened.
Right. As
How
if it
would you
was.
feel when you've manifested the love of your life? How would you feel when your finances are in a better shape than ever before? And then he was feeling that way now, even before it had actually manifested. So he was becoming a vibrational match to it before reality had had a chance to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
So he said that he did this for 30 days, read it to himself out loud for 30 days. And then in the months that followed after that, it all just happened.
Started coming together, right?
Yeah. So when I listened to this video, I was like, that sounds fun. What have I got to lose? I may as well give it a go. And that was the kind of energy that I had when I decided to do it myself. So I wrote myself a thank you letter in advance.
No.
And I wrote down a series of all the things that I wanted to manifest. And when I was writing it, I thought, okay, I don't want this to just be like a shopping list. I want it to be a letter of thanks that's filled with emotion. So that's a top tip. If anyone wants to write a scripting letter of their own, don't just write it like a shopping list. With each point, with each topic that you want to manifest, write down the result that you want and also how it will make you feel. So remember, the first line of my letter is, thank you so much. I now have more money in my account than ever before. It feels so good to think about what to buy next.
Okay.
And because at the time of writing this letter, I only had about £500 in my account. I'd never really had more than £500 in my account. And I was always permanently scared and stressed about buying anything. I just had this kind of fear and scarcity mindset. So me writing that at that time was a huge difference and a huge shift of not just talking about wanting more money or having more money, but actually having that feeling of looking forward to what to buy. That was totally foreign for me. So each thing, make sure there's something about how it makes you feel in the letter, that how you want to feel. So I thought, I'm not just going to read this once a day. I'm going to read this twice a day because, it's easy enough. I'm just reading a letter to myself. I can do that twice. So it became part of my daily routine to wake up every morning, because I knew that people talk about like the first thing you do in the morning makes an imprint on your whole day, right? It's sort of like you're calibrating your day. So every morning I would read the letter out loud to myself with feeling, with emotion. And then every evening I would also do it just before bed, because I've also heard that like where your brain is focused on in those last few moments of the day, just before you're going to slip into sleep, where your subconscious mind is sort of working away for you, that those moments are important, and what you focus on just before you go to sleep is important. So that's why I did morning and night. Then what I did this for about 30 days, and after about 30 days, I was kind of done with it. I got a bit bored of it. I forgot about it. I just stopped doing it. And I forgot about the letter. Like, it slipped down the side of my bedside table and it just sat there. And I forgot about it, right? It was just another manifestation technique. I do all of these different things. I'm always trying something new. So it's another one that I just did, right? But then 3 months later, I remember going to okay. One of the things that I wrote on my scripting letter was actually about my physical appearance, because I was like, let's just do it all. What are the things that I want? Nothing to lose. Let's just go for it. So one of the things I put on the letter was that my bra size, that I'd grown a bra size, because this is something I wanted, right? Yes. So I said, I'm now the next cup. And, I feel so confident. I'm in love with how my boobs look. So this is something that it's just, who knows? It might work. So, So then 3 months later, I go to buy some new underwear, and I'm trying some bras on in the fitting room. And the lady who was like the attendant in the fitting room was like, I'm sorry, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I see that you've picked up this size, and I don't think that you're that size. Have you had a measurement done recently? And I was like, no, I haven't. Okay, go ahead. You're the pro. You know what you're talking about. Measure me up. Right. So she measured me up and she was like, yep, these are all a cup size too small for you. You stay there. I'll go and get them in the next size. So I'm there trying on these bras, and like the ones that she picked for me fit perfectly. I go home. The penny still hasn't dropped, by the way. I've still forgotten about the letter.
Okay.
But until like 2 days later, when I was sat on my sofa and I thought, did I write something about that months ago? So I run to my bedroom. I'm like, where's that letter? Where's that letter? Go behind my bedside table, find the letter, read it. And the exact cup size that I wrote on my letter is the exact cup size that I just bought.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, that's so cool. So I ticked it off and I actually looked at that point because I suddenly found the letter again. I looked through the rest of it just to check because anything else come true. And a couple of other things had definitely started to shift. Like I did have more money in my account than ever before. I was introduced to read a book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, which taught me everything about how to make the money that you have got, however little, how to make that money last and work for you so that you're never going to be broke again. And I even connect things like coming across a book and reading it and getting the answer that you were looking for. I count that as a manifestation. You know, there's billions of books in the world. What are the chances of you finding the one that's going to answer exactly what you need to level up, right? So then within a 6-month period, I kept checking in on my letter. And after 6 months, I had been able to tick every single thing off the letter. One of the things on my letter as well that I ticked off was that that now I'm so happy and grateful that my content on social media is going viral to a positive, supportive audience of people. And when I wrote that, nothing that I had ever created had ever gone viral online. But within a 6-month period, I had started to get a few videos go viral. And then I did a YouTube video about how everything I wrote on the letter came true. And then that video went viral.
Yes.
So yeah, it's that's why scripting is something that I
guarantee you're going to have a lot of people looking you up right now on the your YouTube. So wow, you know, it's interesting because this little short period of time we have learned so much today for all of you who are watching, and I know they will be going to be watching later. But I know it's getting short on time, so what I was going to ask you is, so if people want to like watch you, you use the title "Life" by Lucie, and that is what you use for all of your platforms, correct?
Yes, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram are the 3 platforms that I really use the most.
Okay. So I think that I expect a lot more followers. I think.
Awesome. It'll be great to connect to some more people.
Well, thank you so much, Lucie. I'm going to end the interview now, you know, because I know that it's getting late for you too over there. And I want to thank you again for being so gracious to not really knowing me to accept this invitation. And so I want to thank the viewers and give Lucie a warm thank you. And just look her up. She is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosalva. Appreciate that. Bye.
Bye-bye.